So the first question.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing a what to ask when moving into your first apartment video. We're going to go over 7 questions that you need to ask before you move into your apartment. If that's something you're interested in, keep on watching.
So the first question. So the first question you want to ask is about parking. You want to know if it's assigned parking or if you can park wherever you want. You want to know if it's a parking garage, parking spot. You want to know where you're parking. You want to know where your car is going to be. We have a parking structure, so one of our cars go over there, and then for the unassigned parking where you can just park wherever, one of our cars is also there. So that's how it works for us. And so you guys want to make sure you ask that question: how does the parking work? And
especially if there's 2 cars, because we have one assigned parking space for us that has like a little garage in front of it. Not a garage, a storage room. And then, but usually we just park both of our cars in the unassigned parking, which is probably kind of like messed up because I'm sure everybody else has cars. But we live our parking is right in front of our apartment, so we just park both of our cars right there and walk up the stairs. We don't park in our parking slot that was assigned to us because it's kind of farther away from where we are. So. And you want to know the distance too. Just keep that in mind, because I know one of my friends has an apartment and she has to park across the street in the dirt because there's no parking structures at all. So next is the pool and gym guidelines and rules. So for us specifically, we got 4 bracelets that shows that you're a part of an apartment, like you're a resident there. Only 4 people can be in the pool at a time. So 4 of us in total, so me and him can go, and we can have 2 other people with us. And they gave us 4 bracelets, so we all have to have a bracelet on. Because of COVID, that changed, but of course, for now, we just all had to have our bracelets on. Mm-hmm. Ask how that stuff works, and
because you don't want to overdo it, and you just inviting friends over to the pool or whatever, and you guys are all in the pool and it's crowded, and you're overdoing it. You don't want to do that, causing a problem because they're like, hey, you have too many people or whatever. Just make sure you know the guidelines so it doesn't even escalate to that and there's no confrontation. You just want to avoid all that. So just make it easier by asking the question.
Yeah, and then with the gym, just ask, how many people can be in there at once? Is it free at any times? The times for the stuff, because you don't want to be trying to go to the pool late at night or at 8 o'clock and they're closed. Just asking those specific questions, because it may seem like something subtle, but you want to know that stuff for when you do move in. That's just going to be added to the list of stuff oh, I don't know, I've never been to the pool. I don't even know what time they're open or closed. Just stuff to know. So
the next question you want to ask is about storage. So if you have a lot of stuff when you're moving and you may not have the biggest apartment or whatever the case may be, you need extra space, make sure you ask about storage, because it's going to help out in the long run. Because we have a storage unit outside by our parking structure, and that's helped a lot because we had just extra stuff that we didn't need in the apartment, and having that storage unit is spacious. We have, just extra boxes out there, stuff like that we don't need in here.
Boogie boards.
Yeah, boogie boards. We like fishing. We got our fishing poles out there. Stuff like that. So that's the stuff you don't want in your apartment. So make sure you ask about storage and check it out. See if they have it. If they don't, then...
And also, that should be a key thing you look for in an apartment. Also, especially if you have a lot of stuff. We have 2 bedrooms, but we didn't realize,
how much stuff we had.
We don't have a hall closet. We don't have stuff for, we don't have any storage in this apartment, really. We glad that we have a 2-bedroom, because we would have had, not a lot of room for a lot of our stuff. We took up both of these closets. We didn't have nowhere to put our vacuum. We didn't have nowhere, that type of stuff would have just been sitting in the living room. Your vacuum would have just been a decoration, because there's no hall closet or anything in here. So we honestly just used we have, a cubicle bin, and we have, cubbies in there, and we have every single one of those cubbies filled, and there's 2, 4, 6, probably 8 cubbies full of stuff, because there's literally no storage. So my hair stuff, facial products, light bulbs, like extra stuff like that, toilet paper, their towels, like all that stuff needs somewhere to go, and we don't have a hall closet. So just ask about that. Make sure you keep an eye out for when you are moving, especially keeping in mind how much stuff you actually have. So I'm going to get into another question that should be the main question you asked, is what's included in your rent? So honestly, I kind of wish we would have known that. It didn't really affect us that much, but I know that could probably take a toll on other people who aren't aware. So for us, for example, you want to know what amenities are included and what amenities are not included that you're going to have to pay for through an outsource. So for us, it was Edison and Southwest Gas. Like, we had to pay those two bills separate. So for our rent, water and trash was included in our rent. And we weren't really expressed, or we weren't told that like verbally. Like, I guess we were just supposed to know. And she just told us that we had to set up A and B, and we were like, okay, cool. And we also didn't know that would affect the way that our rent came every month, because we thought it was going to be a set price, but no,
it fluctuates.
It fluctuates every single month, and we did not know. And that kind of ties into how are your bills calculated. So these kind of tie into each other because, for example, our water bill is calculated by the 4 apartments that are on our side. So it's us and our neighbor, and right under us it's another neighbor and another neighbor. So our water bill is calculated by all 4 of our apartments, all of our water divided by 4, which for us kind of sucks because we didn't get a washer and dryer in our apartment, but our neighbors have a washer and dryer. And we all have dishwashers, and they have 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, or really 2 bathrooms, so the showers and all that. So we're kind of paying a lot more for water than, the average. If we were in an apartment that didn't have a washer and dryer, we would kind of be probably next to other apartments who didn't have it. But because we're next to that, we're also paying that extra water, because washers take a lot of water, especially 4 washers. Like, that's a lot of water. So we're kind of paying for all, of course it's divided, so it's even and fair, but we didn't know that for a long time. So I think that's really also very important for you to ask, like, okay, if this is included in the rent, how is it calculated? How much is it going to change my rent? Because our rent has been changed over $100 once before. Like, our rent is this price, and that price jumped an extra $100 we paid in water and trash, just water and trash. Of course the sewage is included and all that, but just in water and trash, we paid an extra $100 on our rent. So you really have to keep that in mind and make sure you calculate that for sure, because that extra $100 you think you have in your pocket when you're moving into a place, and you really don't. So what's the average amenities bill? That's not really something you might want to ask. I mean, when you move in, that's probably something you really want to ask, like, what is the average amount that I would be paying for gas, for electricity? Like, you kind of want to know just to get in the ballpark. You can ask people around you in the area or something like that, but that's a main question you really want to ask. But that's a question you really want to ask, you guys, because you just never know, and that's a bill. That's a huge bill. Sometimes that bill can jump. Those bills also fluctuate, so you want to know what's the cap amount. Like, what's the most you paid on your electricity? What's the most you paid on your gas? Like, those are questions you really want to ask, because, again, my rule from the previous video, you want to overestimate and not underestimate. So
the last question you guys want to ask about is vandalism. So when you're in the office with the people and, getting to know the place, you want to ask about vandalism. You want to know if you're in a safe environment. You want to know how many break-ins have happened. You want to know what's going on in the area you're about to move into, because if you don't, and surprises come up, and your car gets broken into, or somebody else stuff get broken into, like, that makes you unsafe and uncomfortable. So you want to make sure you ask before you move in, just so that doesn't happen. So ask people in the office, ask the people who've lived there, just ask around, make sure you look at the reviews, like, check everywhere before you just pick a place, because the environment is one of the most important, if not the most important detail you want to know about. So just make sure you ask about that. That's probably the most important question.
Because we seen a really, really nice apartment, and we were reading the reviews about it, and it was a recent review, and they were basically saying that their car got broken into, and that's been a big issue in the area, and the apartments were beautiful. They weren't gated, or there actually was a gate, but I don't think it just was open when we pulled in. So, but yeah, just make sure you ask, because they were like, yeah, my license plate was stolen, and just all kinds of stuff, and everybody in the neighborhood was having that same issue. So that's really important. in, and that's something you really want to know too, because that says a lot about the complex, their security. We literally have security guards walking around
24/7.
We always, like, every time we leave, pull up. It could be late at night, we'll be coming home, and there's somebody walking around with a security jacket on. So that's also important to know, like, you know, how good are you guys protecting?
Do you guys have security? You have surveillance cameras? What do you have to make sure our stuff is protected and safe?
We're protected and safe, so. Yep, but that's all for the tips, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified if you like these videos. We are doing a series. This is probably the 3rd video in the series. If you want to add anything, put it in the comment section below. If you guys also had your own experiences and have some tips you want to give other people who are moving to their apartment, comment those down below. We're trying to help each other. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.